Hey guys, it's Krista. Welcome to the first episode of my podcast. I'm so excited. I have to give a shout out to Andy Smiley from A Friendly Podcast Guide because talking to her just kind of gave me the motivation to actually do this. I have a YouTube channel, so I love my YouTube channel actually. It's like one of my favorite things that I do in my business. And lately, my episodes have felt super just like chatty, and I just have wanted to start a podcast for a long time. So I'm so excited to be doing it today, and I am so grateful for everyone who's listening and supporting. And I hope you get something great out of it today. So with Andy, actually, we came up with the first episode that I was going to share with you guys on the podcast. And so I just wanted to share my journey with bullet journaling. If you're listening, you should know that I love bullet journaling. I don't think many people don't know that because even before I had my Instagram, I had my YouTube channel, I was always talking to people about bullet journaling, whether they were like with me physically or not. But yes, the people around me physically know that I bullet journal, and I journal and bullet journal all the time. So that's probably something that you know about me, but I wanted to share with you how I got into bullet journaling. So here's the whole background. And bullet journaling specifically is kind of like a 5-year journey. So here we go. We're going on a little back 5 years through a 5-year journey. But journaling is something that I've done my whole life. I did it when I was younger, did it throughout high school, college, into my marriage, which is when I got married was kind of when I started bullet journaling. So let's jump right into that because I think it'll be fun to kind of wrap that whole journey up and listen to it in a hopefully cool story podcast that you get to listen to. So 5 years ago now, almost 6 I feel like, but yeah, in 2019 I got married. So that was in August. It was awesome. Shout out Spencer, my husband, best guy ever. Honestly, I'm so lucky to have him. He's the best. But anyways, so I got married, and of course that brings change to your life, and it was great to be married. And so we got married in August, and we spent the first Christmas with his family. They at the time were in Florida, so we spent Christmas with them in Florida, which was awesome. Spencer and all of his family are really good gift givers, so I was just spoiled. And then we were there through New Year's, and so it was like post-Christmas, pre-New Year's, right? That week of limbo everyone's in, where you're like, gotta get into my goals, but also, I'm gonna eat all the leftovers and candies and chocolates and just veg for a week. But in that time period, I was very interested in, I don't know, I want to say like revamping my life. I was just getting antsy to like do something, I don't want to say different, but just like I wanted to like get into New Year's, have some resolutions, and like do something productive towards those resolutions. And so I honestly don't know how I thought of bullet journaling, but that's what kind of came to mind. My sister-in-law had bullet journaled and like sort of introduced me to it before, so maybe that's like where it came from. But I decided that I wanted to try bullet journaling as a way to kind of track the new year, track my goals. Honestly, I wasn't really sure what I was getting into. I was super new to it. And so I started just looking up, researching bullet journaling, and there is a very big, bullet journaling is pretty big on YouTube, I would say. Like, it's really easy to watch and like see what a bullet journal is through YouTube. So I started looking on YouTube. I found this really awesome bullet journalist, Amanda Rachel Lee. She's pretty huge. At least a while ago, she was like really like probably like the top bullet journalist. Anyways, I found her videos. I watched her video of like setting up her 2020 bullet journal, which, involves just like the decorative artsy side of bullet journals. So I was pretty quickly drawn in and super excited about it. And so the reason I brought up like Christmas time is because I felt a little like silly, just like getting spoiled by my husband, by my in-laws, and like just having had Christmas and then like a few days later, like ordering a bunch of bullet journal supplies, like, oh, I didn't get enough gifts. But anyways, so I did. I just kind of researched on Amazon, or just like went on Amazon and like found probably just like a cheap bullet journal. I ordered like a spiral bound one. I ended up ordering some stencils. I thought, oh, that could be nice for all the artsy things that I want to do. I didn't consider myself a super intense or good doodler, so I was just like, oh, these stencils might help. And then I ordered, I think, a calligraphy pen, because I was like, oh, people do calligraphy with bullet journaling. And then I ordered gel pens, and I'm pretty sure that was like the basics of what I ordered. So that was the setup I had for my start of my bullet journaling. So yeah, anyways, those are the things I ordered. They came in. You can see that bullet journal on my YouTube channel if you want. And I just started creating my bullet journal from scratch, which, if you don't know what a bullet journal is, I like to describe it as a planner that you plan on keeping. So it makes it like a planner and journal in one. So I was essentially going to try and set up like a planner and track my goals, of course. I wrote out my reflections, my goals, and just kind of winging it along the way. So, of course, the funny thing about that is it was 2020, so I had all these plans, I had all these goals, and then, of course, the world changed, which actually turned out to be kind of in my favor if I wanted to focus on bullet journaling, because I ended up having a lot more time, right? Like, I didn't have to work, I didn't have to physically go into work. So I had a lot more time to explore bullet journaling and really get into it. So I finished my first bullet journal, like it went all the way from January to July of 2020, and I was running out of space. I knew I wouldn't be able to finish the year in that bullet journal. So I started a new bullet journal, and when I started my new bullet journal, that's when I decided to share it on YouTube. So that's kind of when I got into YouTube, was I guess August of 2020. And throughout this whole time, I was with Spencer. Spencer had started bullet journaling with me because he's just awesome. In fact, I still think he has that bullet journal and like sometimes uses it for random notes and things. I got my mom to get into it with me. So like we stayed with my parents in California for a while during COVID, and so we would like bullet journal together, and that was really fun. A couple like family members visited my parents in California while I was there, and like I would get them into bullet journaling. I would introduce them. And in fact, one of my aunts, shout out to Karen, she got really into it. She's super crafty, super artsy, super amazing, and she got really into bullet journaling with me too, so that was really fun. So yeah, I was just like telling everyone about it, super excited about it. At the same time, I'm like, what was I even telling them? I didn't even really fully, I just, showed them what a bullet journal was, and then they kind of were like, oh, I think I get it, and like did it. I understand what a bullet journal is way more now, right? 5 years later. But anyways, that's besides the point. So I was already like, as soon as I started bullet journaling, I was like, everyone needs to do this. So yeah, so I started my YouTube channel. And then I also remember a little bit after that, when I started my YouTube channel, I remember, when you start a YouTube channel, and like start sharing about it. I started at Instagram, people notice, and I wasn't necessarily trying to start a business. But I think I kind of was, of course, right? Like I was like, I want to do something with this. So people were like asking me about it and like wanting, like I remember someone being like, I want a bullet journal. And I was just like, ugh. Like I didn't know how to, I don't know, make one for her or like charge her for it. I, at the time, was a high school math teacher. And so like I was just used to that being how you make money. You go to your job and you get money. Your time is kind of like your money. So I was just like, yes, I will help you. When someone specifically was like, I want a bullet journal, can you make me one? I was like, sure. But then I don't even think I ended up doing it because I was just like, I was just overwhelmed. And I think it was just so many silly, now that I think about it, creative blocks, right? Like maybe I would say perfectionism was one of them, and just like, yeah, just silly things. Like I really should have just been like, okay, here's how much I'm charging, Venmo me, I'll make you one. But I just was blocking myself, stopping myself from doing that. And another like experience from that time was I was like, okay, in my head, to help people start bullet journaling, I needed to like have all the supplies, because I was like really into like the supplies side of things. I love going to Hobby Lobby. I love buying supplies. I love making my bullet journal cute and pretty. And so in my head, I was like, I want to give someone like a full kit, like the markers, the pens, the bullet journal. And so I was like, I remember pulling up an Excel sheet with like, bullet journal would cost this much, and like if it was on sale at Hobby Lobby, it would be like, I don't know, $6, whatever. I was like breaking down the cost of like each item. A bullet journal would be $6, pencil would be 25 cents, I don't even know, eraser 50 cents, my pen, it was going to be like $1.25 for the favorite pen, and like markers. I was like listing out all the supplies and being like, it's going to be like 50, I don't know. I was trying to be like, how can I start this? And I do actually remember at the same time in my office, like typing up a guide, like a beginner's guide to bullet journaling. So I should have like listened to my gut then. Like I was trying to, in 2020, when I started, do what I am currently doing. I just couldn't like figure out how to actually do it. Okay, so that was 2020, and the next year started 2021, and I started my new bullet journal. It was a pink one. I was getting into pink. Spencer got me a pink one for Christmas. It was awesome. And I also, pretty quickly into that year, got pregnant. And so I'm really in tune with my pregnancy cycle right now, because if you don't know, I'm a mom of 3 kids, and their pregnancies were pretty back to back. My first 2 are 16 and a half months apart, and my second 2 are 18 months apart. And then my daughter's like a newborn. She's like a month old. So I was pregnant with my first, and I get really, really tired during my first trimester. So bullet journaling kind of like slipped through the wayside. And anyways, I just compare when I was pregnant to the bullet journal when I wasn't pregnant and it was like COVID and I had a lot of time. That one was like super artsy, super crafty, super fun, of course, loved it. And then when I got pregnant with like this beautiful pink, I was about to like thrive in my bullet journaling era. It was like not very cute or full, or like I didn't do it consistently, but I still did it. And so, you know, your style changes and that's fine. So I guess for some reason during that time, like I stopped doing YouTube. I guess the creativity, the buzz of starting everything, I just didn't follow through. So it kind of left me. So I wasn't, doing my YouTube channel as much anymore. I don't even think I was doing it like at all. Actually, I do have a video from that time when I did some pregnancy spreads, which actually I think is my most viewed video on YouTube. But anyways, I wasn't really very consistent with my YouTube channel. I wasn't really thinking about like starting a business or like trying to sell bullet journaling anymore. I was just kind of like tired and excited to be a mom, of course. So then, and I was still teaching. And the plan at the time was to teach, have my baby, and go back to teaching. I was going to have her in November. I did have her in November, and then I was going to go back to teaching in like February or March for the rest of the year, and then I was probably going to quit. But after I had my first daughter, I took my full maternity leave, and just like the anxiety of going back to work was really building, and I was avoiding it, and it literally came to like a crash, I guess you could say, where I was like, yeah, no, I cannot go back to work. I cannot leave my baby. I could not fathom leaving her for 8 hours, 9 hours a day. And I mean, we even were like had childcare set up. Like Spencer probably could have watched her, and we had family that could support her while I was at work. But like physically, I could not bring myself to do it. Mentally, emotionally, I was just not going to be able to go back to work. And I'm a little embarrassed about how I like took my maternity leave and didn't go back. But I didn't realize that I was gonna be obsessed with my baby so much. I mean, I probably should have realized that, but so I quit my job, and we moved out of state. We moved out of Utah. We at that time had decided that we wanted to move to Arizona, which is where we live now. My brother lived there and we visited a few times, and we were like, okay, we want to like go to Arizona. We had been married for a while and we had lived close to family most of our marriage. We had like stayed with my parents for some of like COVID, so we had just been around family a lot, and we were kind of excited to like go somewhere to start our family, I guess, just go somewhere different and new for us. So we decided that we wanted to get to Arizona. And so that summer we moved in with my parents because we were going to stay there. Both of my siblings were getting married in California that summer. So we're like, we'll be there for the summer and then we'll move to Arizona. Which was great, except for we didn't stay there just one summer. It ended up turning into a year and a half-ish almost of living with my parents, which was fine. That was just kind of like what needed to happen for us at the time. But yeah, so we moved with my parents. We ended up staying longer than we were intending, and so at the same time I was this fresh off from like working full time to like not working and staying home with my baby. And then after like probably 6 months or so of having my baby, I was like, you know what, I could work again. And so I decided I wanted to tutor. I actually ended up tutoring a little bit, right? I was a high school math teacher. I ended up tutoring a little bit at the end of when I had just quit my job. I had like kept up what I was doing with a couple students, I guess you could say. And so I was like, maybe I'll try tutoring. So I put it out there. I'm like, hey, I want to tutor. Let me know if you're interested. I didn't really get much back, but randomly at that same time, my uncle has a really cool like homeschool company that he set up that he needed a high school math teacher for. So of course I was like, perfect. I was already thinking I wanted to go back to work. I took this part-time work from home job as a essentially high school math teacher-ish. I mean, it was just helping the students and like managing their curriculum a little bit. I didn't really teach per se. They had their own curriculum, but I kind of would tutor a little bit and just like manage the students and like make sure they're doing okay. So that seemed pretty like awesome that I was looking for work, and then like that landed in my lap. So that was great. And I had that job with my daughter, and then I was pregnant, and I had it through his pregnancy and through having him. So that takes us to about when I was getting the itch to start my own business again. So, we're back. Creativity will come back to you, I guess. So I had this part-time work from home job. It was awesome. It was like 10 to 20 hours a week. Wasn't too demanding. I pretty much enjoyed it until I didn't. So I just specifically remember feeling like this is only 10 to 20 hours, right? Not too much, but like 10 to 20 hours of like, usually I had to be like, either my kid or kids were napping, or like I really had to like work around their schedules to do this work. And it wasn't really fulfilling me like I thought it was or wanted it to be. So in my head, that wasn't clicking, right? I was like, I am working hard to work, if that makes sense. I'm working hard to get this, I guess, alone time to be able to like do this job that I'm like, do I even really love it? Like I was starting to not love it. I really wasn't interacting with the kids as much as I wanted to, which is what I liked about teaching and math tutoring in general, is like helping people, right? Of course. And so I wasn't really doing that. It was just starting to feel like it was taken away rather than giving to me. I mean, of course I was getting paid, and it wasn't like I wasn't getting paid reasonably. I felt like my pay was reasonable, but it just, the time, which I'm starting to realize is so valuable to me, was just not feeling worth it to me. So, and at the same time, right, I told you that this like desire to like start a business was back. And so it was feeling like, well, okay, my kids are asleep. I need to do an hour of work, but I also want to like work on this bullet journaling stuff so I can like start sharing and selling and doing my business. And so my time was starting to get split, and I was like looking at both options. And yes, like I was getting paid for my time with that job, but I knew I wanted more kids. I knew I wanted more money, right? Like I wanted a better life. And I just like didn't foresee myself growing with that company. So that was starting to feel limiting, right? It wasn't feeling as expansive. That's one of my favorite words right now, as me starting my own thing. Although, of course, starting my own thing, I even remember like at the time I had pulled up another Excel sheet. I'm like not good at Excel. I don't know why I keep pulling up these Excel sheets, but I pulled up an Excel sheet and I was starting to track my time and how much I was getting paid. So I started like tracking how much it was taking me to like make a digital planner, because that's what I started doing. I started making digital bullet journals. So it's like, okay, I'm putting in this amount of time making digital bullet journal, and then I like wasn't getting paid. So I was like comparing the time, like what it was worth to me, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm working 2 hours at this job and I get paid this much. So it was kind of like, that was just like a weird like thing in my mind of just like, it's not worth my time. I'm not making money. I've sort of course, changed that mindset, right? Because right now my time is just like worth it in and of itself. But at the time I was just like, I don't know how to justify this. So weird, like creative roadblocks. If anyone's listening to this and like can explain to me what those were, I would love to hear. But like, again, that was something holding me back, because I was like, I know I could start spending 5, 10, 15 hours a week on this business or trying to build this business, but those hours won't directly equate to like money, as I had been so used to earning money my whole life. Anyways, so this is just fun to like actually think back of like all the like things that were like trying to stop me, but like had to break through them. Okay, so we are at the point where I was creating digital products and trying to sell them on Etsy. I was also dabbling a little bit in print on demand. I was selling some blank dot grid bullet journals on my Etsy shop as well, through a print on demand shop that I don't even use anymore. Anyway, so that was kind of like the start of my business, I guess you would say. Although at the time I was still like not calling myself a business. I was just like playing around. I was just committing a couple hours here and there when I could. And then we were about to move to Arizona. Okay, actually, let's back it up a little bit. Right before that, we end up spending some time moving in actually with his family in Utah for a month or two. I can't remember exactly. And I'm still working my part-time job and I'm still bullet journaling a lot. I don't think I was working on like my Etsy as much there. Oh, you know what? Sorry, let me back this up. I hadn't even worked on my Etsy shop yet. We were in Utah first with his family when this happened, and then I started working on my Etsy shop. So really, actually, sorry, we're a little out of order here, but it's fine. I think actually the catalyst for starting my business was when I threw my first bullet journal party. And so again, if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably heard me talk about bullet journal parties, because I currently sell them. If you're interested, find me on Instagram, reach out. I can tell you more about that. But let me tell you about that right now. So I moved to Utah for a little bit. So again, this is before my Etsy and digital planner I started making. Moved back to Utah. We moved with his parents for a little bit, and my siblings lived there. 2 of my siblings, like within the same week, reached out to me and were like, oh, I want to start bullet journaling. And I was like, lovely, you've come to the right place, of course. And so one sibling texted me and I was like, awesome. And I think I was sending them links like, buy this journal, this is great. Another sibling was like, I want to start bullet journaling. So I started a group text with them and I was like, you should buy these bullet journals, because they were like, I don't know, on sale, whatever. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait, what am I doing? So remember back in, I think it was 2020, when I was like researching costs of bullet journal supplies and bullet journal things, that I was like buying tons of I just like had bullet journals on hand. I literally have had like 5 extra blank dot grid bullet journals just like in my house. Through all these moves, I still had them. And so all of a sudden I was like, scratch that, siblings, don't buy bullet journals. We're going to do this thing. And I like made this cute little invite and I had a bullet journal party. And I was like, I have like 8 bullet journals, or I think I had like 5. I have 5 bullet journals in my storage. I will just let people have those. Like, what was I going to even use them for? I would probably have found something to use them for, but you know, this is me, the crazy bullet journal girl. I just had extras. So I was like, come to this party. And then I just invited a bunch of other people, because I was like, let's make this a thing. I invited my husband's sibling and family, and anyways, about 10 people ended up coming. And I think I had to buy like 2 or 3 more bullet journals, but I was like, woohoo, of course I'm going to do this. Like, that's so fun. Remember, buying bullet journal supplies to me is just like, no question. Of course I will do it. So yeah, I sent out a cute invitation. I invited some friends over. We had this bullet journal party. And at this party, I taught what a bullet journal was. I think I went over the key in my bullet journal. I displayed all my bullet journals. I was like, take a look, get a vibe of what it is. And then I taught them how to make my favorite weekly spread. And it was so fun. It was so fun. To me, it was like, I was surprised at how into it everyone was, because I, kind of let everyone do whatever they wanted at the beginning. And then I was like, hey, listen up. And I started teaching. And like, once I was teaching and like showing them how to do the spread, they were just like, everyone was just like super intense, like silent. I had music playing, but it was just like, they were really intensely like doing their thing. And I was just like, whoa, like I just didn't expect people to be this into it. I mean, I don't think everybody like kept up with it after the party, but the party was just really fun because everybody was so excited. They were using all my supplies. I had extra like markers and pens. I was like, take these. I'm a crazy bullet journal person. Take all my extra stuff. So they did. And it was just super fun. And I do remember one of my friends being like, what can I pay you for this? And I was like, no, like just come. And I still feel like to this day, if anybody wants to learn about bullet journaling, I want to share that with you like for free, right? Like go to my YouTube channel. I have a class on there, Bullet Journaling 101. Like if you want to learn about bullet journaling, like yes, I'm your girl. Let me do that for you. And so anyways, that like still was like, I don't know, I probably should have been like, yes, pay me $10, but I didn't. Okay, so then let's go back. Like I did the bullet journal party. Then I was like, okay, let's do this. And I started my Etsy. I started my like print on demand stuff. And then, I was just trying to like start a business. And I was just doing what I thought was right, which to me was actually did not come easily, right? Remember, I had all these weird like my time is money thing, and like I just couldn't figure out like how people do it. I'm learning, and I'm still learning, of course, but like I was just like, how do people just like do this and like don't know for sure if they're gonna get paid or not? Like I guess that was kind of the tricky part, but the rewards have been so great. Okay, so let's start at that point. So now I've moved to Arizona, and I technically still had that part-time work from home job, and I'm like trying to get this business going. And I am reading the book You Are a Badass at Making Money. And once I read that book, I was like, okay, I gotta do this. There was so many things like in that book that just like spoke to me about like I knew that what I needed to do that was scaring me was quit my job, because I was still, I guess, sort of making money with that job. And so I was like scared to do that, but wanted to do that. And there were a couple other things in that book that I was like inspired to do, but I was just like nervous about. So I ended up quitting my job. They actually came to me and they're like, you need to like get this certification thing. It was fingerprints actually, or you can't continue working here anymore. And I had tried to do this a couple times and it like hadn't worked. So I was like, this is a sign. I was like, sorry, I am not, like I knew in my head, I was like, I just moved to Arizona. I just want to like set up my house and work on my bullet journal stuff. I do not want to take even an hour or two today or any other day and try and go get these dumb fingerprints. So I was like, that's my sign. I'm quitting. And I quit. And that was pretty scary. So I quit. And at the time my husband had a job. He was going to be a police officer. Keyword was going to be. He went to the academy and decided it was not for him. And so he quit his job too. So here we are in our new awesome house in Arizona, where we've been wanting to be with our 2 awesome kids, and jobless. Except for no, because I was working on my business. So when he told me that he wanted to quit, I remember I needed to like process. So I was like, okay, I gotta go on a drive. I went to the store one night. He needed like a lock for his police locker. He was gonna try and keep doing it, but I knew in my heart, I was like, he's gonna quit. This is scary. I went on a drive, and I had, when I was a teacher, I had been putting aside money into a Roth IRA, and I was pretty proud of that, like savings account that I had acquired. But at the same time, I was also like, like, what is a Roth IRA? which I still don't 100% fully understand. So anyways, I had that money and I was like, okay, of course we have this money. Like, I can pull that out so we can pay rent and live here because we wanted to live there. But I was like, you know what? No, like, I am not just going to like pull this money out and be like, here's our rent money and just be like annoyed about it. I was like, if I'm going to pull this out, I'm going to pull this out for me. So I feel like the next day or the next night for dinner, I was like, hey, I'm going to pull out that money from my Roth IRA, but I'm going to invest it all in my business. And Spencer was just like, yes, do it. And so we did. So how that worked out though was I decided to hire Spencer to help me with my business. I pulled out the money and I was like, look, this was like really fun actually. My coach, who I'll talk about in a sec, was like, that was so creative. He had just quit his job and he was applying for jobs, and like I remember I was like, you're going to hear back from 3 jobs this week. It was like the first week he had started applying for jobs. And I think he might have heard back from one, but I sent him an application to my business, I guess. I sent him 3 different applications. Oh, what were they? Let me try to remember. One was the IT guy. I was going to have him like set up my desk, which he did. One was like assistant, which I was like, this encompasses like childcare, dishes, and just like random things. What was that last one? There was one other job I had him apply to, and he got, I think, like my CFO or something. I was like, you're going to be my accountant. I think accountant. So I sent him 3 applications. I made him like interview, and I was like, you got the job. So I was like, look, you heard back from 3 jobs this week and you got them all. So anyways, one of the jobs, or the total for all those jobs, was going to be, I was like, this is like a temporary position, 3 months, and it'll be 3 months rent is what I paid him. I don't know. That just like in my mind was really fun actually, and it just made me feel like I was using that money for my business, which of course I was, right? Like, we live here and this is where I run my business. So, and I hired Spencer in the process, and he literally like as soon as we like the money like came through, like got into our bank account, we like went and like I bought a new Mac, I bought a new iPad. We went all in on my business. He totally supported me in my business. He set it all up for me. It was really, really fun. So that was that. That like honestly took like the rent and like getting the computer and like maybe a few other things, kind of like, I guess you could say, ate up or like used all of that savings, which is fine. But there was one more thing I knew I really wanted. I had read about it in You're a Badass at Making Money. I was like, Spencer, there's one more thing I want to do with this money. I was like, I think I want to hire a coach. And at the time, I didn't even know any coaches. However, my older sister had hired a coach. And so I asked her about it. I was like, I think I want to hire a coach. And she was like, oh, yeah, here's my coach. So anyways, I started following her on Instagram. Shout out to Kaylin Priest. And she was awesome, and she was starting this program, and for the end of the year, like, make sales for Black Friday, blah blah blah, whatever. I was just like, yep, that's me. So I joined her program. I don't even think she like knew who I was, and I think she thought I was a little crazy, because I am and was. I had so much like crazy, frantic, beginner business owner energy, and I had a big goal. Oh, this is also like interesting. I had a big goal to make $20,000 by the end of the year. And so I shared that with her, and she was like, well, what if that doesn't happen? And I was like, but at the same time, I think I mentioned this in one of my like YouTube videos where I talked about my business journey, taking out all that money from my Roth, plus Spencer did end up getting some jobs. I'm pretty sure if we like added that all up, and I did make sales, of course, through my business, I did start like making money. I do think we probably hit about 20,000. I'm too embarrassed and like, I don't know, not embarrassed, but like I was at the time, like I didn't make 20K in 2 months. Like, I don't know what I was thinking, but anyways, I was a little embarrassed to like actually think too hard about it. But if I reflect, I'm like, you know what? I think we actually did get that much money, like through all those things. And like, whether I got that money or not, like the goal really did like push me to like do things out of my comfort zone, like hire a coach. Like I did all these things because I was trying to reach that goal. And not that I like made that much revenue through my business, but like I do think like it was a good goal. But there was a little part of me that was a little like embarrassed. I thought I could do that and didn't end up doing it, but we'll get there. I am sure of it. And so that was really awesome too, because through trying to start my business and hiring a coach, I actually discovered that I have like a really profound like love, I guess you would say, and like respect for coaches. Like I discovered this world of coaching that I had never been a part of or like known about really before. I had like seen people say like, I'm a coach or I'm a life coach, and been intrigued. I think that was a key to me, right? Like, oh, I'd seen that before and been like, what is that? But also maybe like scared and like, is that even like a real job sort of thing? I don't know. But anyways, I just like got past all that, hired a coach, and then like, I don't know, from there I just got connected to and found lots of other cool entrepreneurs and coaches that just like really have opened my world for me. So yeah, if you have been on my Instagram or YouTube, you know I'm pretty like obsessed with coaching, and I'm actually like trying my hand at coaching, which has been really fun. To this day, I've since hired another coach. My current coach is Alex, or Mindful with Media, who is awesome, and I joined her program called The Serenity, which has just been really great. Basically, coaching has helped me go through all those weird like mind blocks that I had for starting a business, while also giving me a lot of like practical, strategic business tips, right? Like, of course, there's like the marketing and strategy side of it that I'm learning from both coaches / lots of coaches that I like follow on social media and listen to their podcasts. However, I'm just so grateful because coaching has just, made these ideas in my head. So like, I knew that, or actually, this is what I want to say. At the beginning, when I wanted to start bullet journaling and I wanted to start sharing it and I wanted to try and somehow make money doing that, it just didn't feel like that could be a possibility. I just felt like, no, like you can't just like be doing something you really love and make money. Like, I don't think that's how it works. I think you have to like do the grind, go to your 8-hour a day plus job, and like that's how you make money. This is just like a side creative thing. But like, I have just completely changed that mindset, I guess, that belief that you can't make money doing something creative or something that you love. I believe 100% now that you can make money doing things you love. In fact, I like try and create my business so that I'm like really only doing things I love and believing that that's what will make me money and will make me the most money. It took me a while to feel like my business was profitable, but I am making money, like in the positives. My business is not like losing money, which, I mean, for a while I was probably investing more than I was getting out of my business, but right now I am, of course, investing in my business. I have a coach. I invest in this company or I guess I just like invest in the supplies, the bullet journal stuff. Anyways, I invest in my company, but I still make money, which is just beautiful to me, right? I'm like kind of, I would say, at the beginning of my profitable journey for sure. I have plans to make way more money than just what I'm making right now, but I'm just at the beginning of just seeing that you can make money doing the things that you love and being creative. And so I've just learned so much. I almost want to say like your art can bring you money. I have two artistic sisters. One's a photographer, one is a actual art teacher, a ceramics teacher, and she's super artsy. And like, you would think she would be the bullet journaler because she just like doodles and does all these things, and she does journal and bullet journal, not as intensely as me, but like I have recently decided like I am an artist. Like, this is my art. Bullet journaling is my art. And so actually talking about art and artistry of bullet journaling, I'm going to be teaching a free class on Tuesday, November 5th called The Art of Bullet Journaling. So you should come if you want to see, because that will be through Zoom. You can actually see what I'm doing. You can see the art of bullet journaling. I'm very excited about that. But through all that to say is that I am an artist, and this is my work. This is my artistry, is bullet journaling. And I also just feel like even the business side of it, the content creation side of it, that feels like an art to me. I enjoy all of it. And I am on a mission to make money this way, like see that I can make money as an artist. And even besides that, like, yes, I have like started to be profitable, and I'm excited about that and excited to grow on that. The other thing I will say that like this business has done for me is it has taught me like what I think is the truly most valuable thing in my life right now is time. I knew when I had my first baby girl that I could not leave her. Like I could not spend that time away from her. And so if there's anything that this business has done for me, it has given me all the time that I want to be with my kids. And I would say that, you know, a year ago when I was starting my business and trying to be profitable, trying to like make sales and do all the things, sometimes I would feel like, oh, like I need more time away from my kids in order to do this, which until my husband kind of checked me on that and was like, I thought like I was the one working so that you could be at home with the kids. And I was like, you're right. Like this job is just so valuable to me. Not even the fact that I'm making money, but just the fact that I can spend so much time with my kids, which is what I like to do. And besides that, I also can spend time bullet journaling and feel like that's work hours. Not that like we have to like be working a certain amount, but that feels so valuable to me. So like if you're someone like on the newer side of starting a business or wanting to start a business, or like, oh, how do you even start a business? Just know that like the fact that you're starting a business, doing something you love, is valuable in itself. You are spending your time doing something for yourself. It's just going to make you grow and expand so much more than if you weren't. I mean, I grew and expanded a lot as a teacher, of course. But this just feels even so much more aligned. Like I said, I am teaching a class, The Art of Bullet Journaling. And a week ago, I taught Bullet Journaling 101. And I was just so excited because that just felt so me. Like I was a teacher and I am a teacher. I love teaching. Like, so that felt so me. But I'm not teaching math. I'm not teaching something that someone's paying me for. I'm actually doing it for free. But it still just like feels so aligned to me that I am teaching a class about bullet journaling, and you know hopefully it'll equate to sales, but at the same time it's like I still just feel like it's valuable in and of itself that I can just like do what I want with my time, and that's what I want to do with my time, and it just feels so aligned to me. So I am on a journey. I'm on a journey of growing into myself and doing that through this business, through bullet journaling, of course, through being a mom. And I have a message through this podcast and hopefully future podcast episodes that your creative ideas are worth it. I hope you feel like when you're creating and doing something that like lights up your soul, makes you happy, that you feel like it's worth it, and that you can try and make a business out of it if you want to, right? This is what I want to be doing. But I also just feel so aligned and expanded in doing this because it just feels so like the path I want to be on. So keep putting energy into your creative ideas. And if you want to chat more about your creative ideas and how to bring them to life, come find me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. I am at Created by Krista Kirky, and I want to connect with you. Like I said, I'm super loving this world of coaching and trying kind of like my hand in it. So if you want to experience a free one-on-one coaching call with me, let me know. I'm happy to do that with you. If you are a coach or a business owner and you want to be a part of this podcast with me and share how your creativity fills you up, and or just, want to talk about anything with me on this podcast. We are just starting out, and I'm just so excited for the potential of this. I'm so excited to bring you along with me. So find me on Instagram. I'd love to hear from you, and we will catch you on our next episode. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.